those folks are about as happy as they make their minds up to be. No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. Human action can be modified to some extent, but human nature cannot be changed. Love is the chain to unlock a child to its parent. An aerial view of the Lincoln Memorial and National Mall in Washington, D.C. Those who look for the bad in people will surely find it. There are no bad pictures. That's just how your face looks in time. You can tell the greatness of a man by what makes him angry. Common-looking people are the best in the world. That is the reason the Lord makes so many of them. A farce or comedy is best played. A tragedy is best read at home. Upon the subject of education, not presuming to dictate any plan or system respecting it, I can only say that I view it as the most important subject which we as a people hold as tongue and to find one who cannot. Close up of the face on Abraham Lincoln's statue in his memorial on the National Mall. If I were two-faced, would I be wearing this one? You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. I don't like that man. I must get to know him better. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. Adhere to your purpose, and you will soon feel as well as you ever did. On the contrary, if you falter and give up, you will lose the power of keeping any resolution and will regret it all your life. And in the end, it is not the years in your life that count, it is the life in your years. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out to remove all doubt. Leave nothing for tomorrow which can be done today. The feet of a hiker atop a rock covered by light green moss and twigs. Sure you put your feet in the right place and stand firm. You can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorn bushes have roses. Every man's happiness is his own responsibility. If I am killed, I can die but once, but to live in constant dread of it is to die over and over again. A man kayaking toward the horizon at sunrise in Chesapeake Bay, it often requires more courage to dare to do right than to fear to do wrong. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. I would rather be a little nobody than to be an evil son. I have been driven many times upon my knees by overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go, my own wisdom, and that of all about me seemed insufficient for that day. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to success is more important than any other thing. I'm a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down. I have a congenital aversion to failure. I happen temporarily to occupy this big white house. I am living witness that any one of your children may look to come here as my father's child has. Amber light from the sun setting over Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the lights that I have. I must stand with anybody that stands right, and stand with him while he is right, and argue with him when he goes wrong. The greatest fine art of the future will be the making of a comfortable living from a small piece of land. A profoundly timeless Abraham Lincoln quote atop stacks of hundreds of newspapers. We live in the midst of alarm, anxiety clouds the future. It expects a new disaster each newspaper we read. Human nature will not change. In any future, great national trial compared with the men of this, we shall have as weak and as strong, as silly, and as wise, as bad, and as good. best way to predict your future is to create it. The desert road near Marfa, Texas, with a sign directing traffic in either direction. The best thing about the future is that it comes one day at a time. What is it to be will be, and no prayers of ours can arrest a decree. Let every American, every lover of liberty, every well-wisher to his posterity, swear by the blood of the revolution, never to violate in the least particular the laws of the country, and never to tolerate their violations by others. I claim not to have controlled events, but confess plainly that events have controlled me. I know not how to aid you, save in the assurance of one of mature age and much severe experience, that you cannot fail if you resolutely determine that you will not. I have not permitted myself, gentlemen, to conclude that I am the best man in the country, but I am reminded in this connection of the story of an old Dutch farmer who remarks to a companion once that it was not best to swap horses while crossing streams. A man reciting the opening line of the Gettysburg Address on a mountain top. I have stepped out upon this platform that I may see you, and that you may see me. In the arrangement I have the best of the bargain. The demon of the intemperance ever seems to have delighted in sucking the blood of genius and of generosity. As I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master. This expressed my idea of democracy. In giving freedom to the slave, we assure freedom to the free. Honorable alike in what we give and what we preserve, we shall nobly save or mainly lose the last best hope of earth. Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to say it tried on him personally. You think slavery is right and should be extended, while we think slavery is wrong and ought to be restricted. That, I suppose, is the rub. It certainly is the only substantial difference between us. The one victory we can ever call complete will be that one which proclaims that there is not one slave or one drunkard on the face of God's great earth. Fog rolling over a pine forest in the Appalachian Mountains, slavery is found in the selfishness of man's nature. Opposite to it, in his love of justice. All I ask for the Negro is that if you do not like him, let him alone. If God gave him but little, that little let him enjoy. I leave you, hoping that the lamp of liberty will burn in your bosom until there shall no longer be a doubt that all men are created free and equal. If slavery is not wrong, nothing is wrong. No man is good enough to govern another man without that other's consent. I say this is the leading principle, the sheet anchor of American republicanism. It may seem strange that any man should dare to ask the just God's assistance in wringing their bread from the sweat of other men's faces. But let us judge not, that we be not judged. The prayers of both could not be answered as the infinite, to exist only for a day. No man was made for immortality. With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his offering, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. Never studied the art of paying compliments to women, but I must say that if all that has been said by orators and poets since the creation of the world in praise of women were applied to the women of America, it would not do them justice for their conduct during this war. I will close by saying, God bless the women of America. In regard to this great war, I have but to say, it is the best gift God has given to man. All the good the Savior gave to the world was communicated through this prayer. The will of God prevails, and the great contest each party claims to act in accordance with the will of God. Both may be, and one must be wrong. God cannot be for and against the same thing at the same time. In the present civil war, it is quite possible that God's purpose is something different from the purpose of either party. And yet the human instrumentalities, working just as they do, are of the best adaptation to effect His purpose. No man is poor who has a godly mother. I care not for a man's religion whose dog and cat are not the better of it. Let us have faith that right makes might, and in that faith, let us to the end dare to do our duty as we understand it. The United States government must not undertake to run the churches. When an individual in the church or out of it becomes dangerous to the public's interest, he must be checked. Any people anywhere, being inclined and having the power, having the rights to rise up and shake off the existing government and form a new one that suits them better. This is a most valuable, a most sacred right, a right which we hope and believe is to liberate the world. The Supreme Court in Washington, D.C., the legitimate object of government is to do for the people what needs to be done, but which they cannot, by individual effort or at all, or do so well for themselves. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently, half slave and half free. I do not expect the union to be dissolved. I do not expect the house to fall, but I do expect it will cease to be divided. It will become all one thing or all the other. This country, with its institutions, belong to the people who inhabit it. Whenever they shall grow weary of the existing government, they can exercise their constitutional right of amending it or their revolutionary right to dismember it or overthrow it. I own that it already is, that I strongly favor colonization. Discourage litigation. Persuade your neighbors to compromise whenever you can. Point out to them how the nominal winner is often a real loser, fees, expenses, and waste of time. And a peacemaker, the lawyer has a superior opportunity of being a good man. There will still be business enough. What is conservatism? It is not adherence to the olden tribe against the new and the tribe. The love of property and consciousness of right and wrong have conflicting places in our organization, which makes a man's course seem crooked, his conduct riddled. Elections belong to the people. It's your decision. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and burn their behind, then they will just have to sing on their blisters. Women celebrating reaching the summit of the mountain and gazing at the higher one. Whatever you are, be a good one. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That is my religion. Labor is prior to and independent of capital. Capital is only the fruit of labor, and would never have existed if labor had not first existed. Labor is the superior of capital, and deserves much the higher consideration. A metallurgist, welding two small pieces of steel together with an acetylene torch, wanting to work is so rare a merit that it should be encouraged. Property is the fruit of labor. Property is desirable, is a positive good in the world. That some should be rich shows that others may become rich, and hence is just encouragement to industry and enterprise. Let not him who is houseless pull down the house of another, but let him labor diligently and build one for himself, thus by example assuring that his own shall be safe from violence when built. I can make a general in 5 minutes, but a good horse is hard to replace. A lush grotto between several trees is a green belt near Baltimore. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. My father taught me to work, but not to love it. I never did like to work, and I don't deny it. I would rather read, tell stories, crack jokes, talk, laugh, anything but work. A puppy and kitten together on a concrete step. I destroy my enemies when I make them my friends. We are not enemies but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strength, it must not break our bond of affection. The mystic cords of memory stretch from every battlefield and picture, engraved to every living heart and heartstone all over this broad land, will yet swell the chorus of the union when again touched, as surely there will be by the better angels of our nature. If we have no friends, we have no pleasure, and if we have them, we are sure to lose them and be doubly pained by the loss. Two girls reading did you find the most inspiring? Get involved and let us know in the comments down below. If you guys like this video, then be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, if you don't want to miss out on any new future videos, then be sure to click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification under this video so that you're notified the next time we upload a video on the best quotes from world-known famous personalities. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again in the next video. Goodbye.